Hi ladies and gentlemen, it's July 3rd, 2013. Wow, what a firestorm on my channel, huh? For those of you who have been helping me with those trolls, thank you. And you know, you guys who tell me not to engage them, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, the personal information that they have, which, you know, obviously I've been on the internet for, you know, the whole time it's been there, especially since Google came around, and anybody can get any of that information they want. My purpose isn't to hide my background. I was an open book and always have been. It's just that, you know, it's true. It's a side issue from my military professional career, and of course that's why they go after it, because they tried to go after my military professional career and found out that they really couldn't do that very well, especially when they lied up front about it. So they went after this, and that's okay, you know. And just so you know, it might be interesting if I actually mentioned one time that I thought I'd make a video about my life. You know, I'd give that information out. I actually said that probably 10 or 15 videos ago. It's just that the way things have been going, I haven't gone there yet, because I really don't have anything to hide. Okay, I mean, I really don't. It's just that the concentration right now has to be on what's happening, and you all who have told me that are absolutely right. Okay, so I just wanted to say that up front just so I get that out of the way. Let's go to the important issues. I'm getting this information. Hey, you know, UN troops have been here for a long time. That's not new news. You know, tell us something new. You know, give us a timetable. Folks, consider this. The fact that I have been a military officer, the fact that I have trained foreign troops, the fact I've trained UN and NATO troops. I'm not stupid, right? The mere fact that I've done that and that I'm alarmed at what I see should tell you something, okay? That's the issue here. It should tell you that if I'm concerned about it, that I'm seeing an architecture I haven't seen before. And that's why I bring this up, because it is different. Now, what we have found out during all of our investigations, and I'm not going to give you all the source material or all that, it would take too much time. I'm giving you what's called a warning briefing, okay? I don't have exact times. Oh, and by the way, I want to mention this up front. Remember I said in one of the videos that it looks like, I think it was preliminary warning or something like that, that it looked like the timetable around the 21st to the 26th. The event did happen, but it wasn't. The source that saw this information knew that there was a deployment from a training area into staging areas, and that's the time frame that was given for that exit of these foreign troops with their equipment. And of course, the logical assumption is when you see something, this is why I say intel is fluid, that he thought the event would happen at that exact same time. But of course, what they're doing is they're getting set up for it. And I'm going to tell you what I think it is here in just a minute. I think we finally narrowed it down. And I could still be wrong, but considering all the circumstances, I want to go there. Okay, so UN troops are here, Russian troops are here, Ukrainian troops are here, Polish troops are here, German troops are here, Italian troops are here, and Mexican troops are here. Chinese troops on the West Coast, okay? And they're having that huge naval exercise with the Russians, you know, some kind of a joint exercise, which is really kind of different, especially this type. Okay, I don't want to get into a lot of philosophy, and I don't want to take a lot of time because I want to be able to upload this quick. Take for the fact, like I said at the beginning of this, that because I'm concerned about the architecture I see, that is important. It is new news to see the architecture that I'm seeing. The deployments, the type of training that they're receiving. You know, a lot of this MOUT training may not even be U.S. troops. They may be foreign troops dressed in UN or U.S. uniforms or similar looking uniforms. I got that indication when I saw this drill in North Carolina where the guy was not allowed to approach. And I mean, you shouldn't approach Blackhawks anyway, it's dangerous. But the way that those guys kind of fumbled around coming off those choppers, they're not familiar with what they're doing. This is not... These are not American troops. I'd almost be willing to bet on it. Now, most Russian Spetsnaz, those types of people, they are trained in many multi-languages. So that's very likely what we're seeing here. But I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I wasn't there. Again, I'm putting this together with the pieces of the puzzle. We had the information come out. Actually, Conservatus Prime and I had somebody sent us some information about this Russian FEMA agreement like a week and a half ago, and we thought it was, bogus initially. And then we started seeing more information, and of course it came out in the news. So we're really, we actually sat on something we shouldn't have, but the source didn't look good. So you see, sometimes we don't do something, we don't look at something that really is important. And now, of course, Michael Savage is covering it. All the alternative media has jumped on it, even some of the mainstream news, like Michael Savage. He's more alternative, but he's closer to it than most. The point is that we've been correct on that as well. Okay, so all of that out of the way, these troops are here. They're not coming. I'm sure more are. They are here. Okay. Now, the next information I'm going to give you is from a scientific source who has access to other information as well, government and otherwise. And actually, I emailed him this morning asking if we could talk more about it. But, it's the day before the 4th, and I don't know if he's even available. He did tell me that I could release this information under certain circumstances. So you know who you are, and forgive me if I've jumped the gun, but I'm looking at the information here, and you'll understand sort of why I'm going to bring this up now. Okay, we had Coast Guard District 7 basically stand down. They did only emergency calls there for the last few months. You remember that. During one of the exercises they had during that time period was when the 2 FBI agents were killed by an accident falling out of a helicopter. Remember, they were investigators in the Boston bombing, and maybe they knew something that their bosses didn't want them to know or give out. Regardless, you see that time frame there was very little activity by the Coast Guard on the East Coast, Atlantic region, District 7. Now, Fukushima, the Japan earthquake. We heard a lot of things about being able to possibly cause an earthquake and then a tidal wave or a tsunami to create coastal havoc. Okay, a lot of people were talking about that when the Fukushima thing came. And if it was set off by a nuclear weapon sub-ocean floor in what they call an ocean crack in the continental shelf, the radiation leak from Fukushima would cover any radiation that came out. Now, they're not exactly the same. From a nuclear weapon, it's a little different than from a nuclear facility, but the idea of radiation being monitored would be covered. There are quite a few, I don't know exactly where they are right now. I haven't looked it up. I'm doing this in a hurry. There are some nuclear facilities on the East Coast. Okay, I told you before that with all the training that was going on in port cities, it looks like something's going to happen in a port city. Remember, I told you that before. Okay, so this is where it goes. And the reason why I'm hurriedly putting this out today is because July 4th is, it's a significant day. I mean, for all of us, right? At least it should be. They found out doing some interviews that a lot of people don't really know what the revolution was about. In our dumbed down society, we learn about communism, we learn about Mao, we learn about Stalin, but we don't even teach our kids about the really important stuff about how individual freedom and liberty came about. The American Revolution, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, they're words and they don't really know what they say. Boy, I get diverged, don't I? Okay. July 4th is a serious day for us. I can't tell you it's going to happen tomorrow, all right? But this is what the deal is with this scientist. Using a nuclear device in a sub-ocean floor crack, you could cause a significant earthquake, which, as we saw in Japan, could then cause a significant tsunami, which could do a great deal of damage to a coastal area. So much so that it would look like a natural disaster, even though it's man-made. Any radiation would probably be masked because it's out in the ocean, number one. Number two, if it's done near any nuclear facilities that could be affected, they could blame any nuclear radiation on those facilities being damaged. This is for real. This is a scientist with government contacts who's worked in this field for many years, who's verified by the seismic occurrence at Fukushima, also the underground tests in North Korea and some other things, that the Fukushima thing was very likely, most likely, an underground nuclear weapon, a man-made event. And the information he's given us leads me to believe, I'm not saying this is a fact, remember intel is fluid, and you have to change with the circumstances, you have to be flexible. I do believe, with the information I have, that this fits all of the pieces in the puzzle. The shutdown of Coast Guard District 7, the port security drills that we've seen with the helicopters and all of that, the deployment of the troops, mostly on the East Coast. We have some also in California, as you know, especially at Camp Pendleton. The point is, and actually we've seen these troops in other places in the country, but I don't want to bring that up right now because they're not in numbers that are significant for me to worry about. Again, it's the East Coast. Natural disaster is a man-made natural disaster is probably going to happen as the reason to deploy these troops. They've already left their staging areas, their training areas for staging areas. I don't know if you know the difference. And then from there they can be deployed. That has already occurred, and that again was that stuff that happened between June 21st and 26th. So they're in place now to do whatever they're going to do. Now, if they do this Atlantic undersea crack continental shelf device in there to cause an earthquake and a tsunami, we're going to see devastating destruction on the East Coast along the port cities. Perfect scenario for the training that's happened. Will it happen on July 4th? I don't know. I would say that the possibility is certainly there. We saw what happened on the Boston bombing, right? It's just a possibility. The people that normally, almost all the government officials in D.C. are gone. The possibility is there. Am I telling you if you live along the eastern seaboard, on the coastal area, you should get the hell out? I have to leave that up to you. But I at least would be aware that this event that happened in Japan and Fukushima isn't far-fetched. It is what would be termed a weather weapon. Okay? A weather weapon tactic. So I don't know if that is going to be the event, but like I said, all of the evidence suggests that would probably be the case. All right, this has been longer than I wanted it to be already. I'm going to go ahead and upload this, take this information and try to verify anything in your area that might lend credence to it. And just be aware. And if you feel like the danger is real and present, take the appropriate actions, okay? You can only be wrong once, because then the lives of you and your family are lost. It would be better to err on the side of caution. I'll get back to you later.